Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm coming to you with a review of the 2017 release from the house of Eight and Bob. This one here is called the Champs de Provence, and it's one of their latest releases. I have an official sample from Eight and Bob that I've been using to test for this review. And look, let's get straight into it, and I'll talk about what it smells like and how it develops. Okay, so immediately what I get in the opening is orange blossom, and the first thing it reminds me of is a recent fragrance that I've pretty much fallen in love with, really. It's Dilettante by Hiram Green. Okay, so that fragrance is basically the orange tree. So there's orange blossom, orange neroli, and that is just so lovely and natural smelling. And the opening to this actually reminds me of the opening of Dilettante. The only difference with Champs de Provence is that it's probably a little bit lower pitched. It's a little bit darker. It's not as bright as the Hiram Green fragrance. So it's a good opening, which I quite like. Now, as it develops further, it continues on my skin to start to get more mellow, a little bit sweeter, so more of the actual orange starts to come through, and then you start to pick up some florals, and something sweet like amber in the background. But the problem is with this fragrance, after such a promising opening, a couple of things. It dries down into what I can only describe as a little bit of a boring base, and almost the kind of woody base that woody ambery base that you might find in a lot of, I know this is a general thing to say, but a lot of designers have this kind of base. So the disappointing thing about this fragrance is that such a promising opening, your expectations are set quite high with that opening. It's really lovely. It really is lovely. And but after about 10-15 minutes, as that opening begins to fade away, there's still some interesting elements, but it does lose all of its kind of magic from the opening. All that beautiful juiciness and evocative orange smelling. It's a great type of smell for spring and summer. And even now, after that initial spray, it's almost virtually gone. And I'm comparing it to Dilettante, but where Dilettante excels is that the magic of that opening sticks around for the duration of that fragrance. That one lasts a long time. And here's the other thing about Champs de Provence on my skin: after 3 hours, it's practically gone. So it's a bit of a funny review, this one, because it promises so much in the opening, and then for me the dry down is quite disappointing. I get very poor performance from it, soft projection as well, and at that price range. So we're talking about here in Australia, these retail for about $240 for 100 ml. The packaging, the bottles, I think, are quite beautiful. The Eight and Bob bottles are really nice bottles. $240 for 100 ml. It's okay for niche, that kind of pricing, but for a little bit less money, you get a 50 ml bottle of the Hiram Green, and I dare say you probably still get more bang for your buck with those, because they last a lot longer and you probably end up spraying less. So I can't with all honesty recommend buying a bottle of this. Certainly, as always, sample on your skin, and just on that, while we're on testing fragrances, apart from taking it for granted that you should always test on your skin, definitely don't wear something just once and make a decision. If you get the opportunity, always test on your skin, and try and test at the very least twice in different conditions, okay, on warmer days or colder days, which is what I've been able to do with this, because I've had this sample for quite some time, and like I say, it's a nice smell, but I certainly wouldn't be going for a full bottle of this fragrance, just because the dry down is pretty disappointing. Ends up being quite a bland, woody base. There are some interesting things happening, shortly after the opening, but the problem is that on me, 3 hours later, it's gone. So I hope that review of Champs de Provence was useful. If you get the opportunity, spray it. Hopefully it works on your skin and you love it, but this person here did not. I'll see you soon.